Good afternoon everybody, thank you for tuning in. If you watched my previous video, I went camping at Bedgebury in Kent. I was using a Gellert Stratus Tunnel 3 tent. This is, as the name suggests, a 3-man tunnel tent. Half of the inner volume, if you like, is taken up by the inner tent, and the rest, the vestibule, what do we call it, is sort of a living area. I bought this tent, well, close to 15 years ago now. Originally I got it for going to motorbike rallies and on motorbike tours. Just more recently I've just been using it with Cedric, my little dog. But camping from the car. Obviously I can't take Cedric on the motorbike, that's the problem, so let me go in the car at the moment. I bought this about 15 years ago, and it served me very well. In the last video, on the last day, it absolutely poured with rain. And not only was it sort of very, very heavy rain, it also was very, very windy. And unfortunately, water did start coming through the outer fly sheet. Not in great quantities, just the odd drip here and there, but you could never predict where it was going to come in. So I'd be sitting there in my chair, listening to the radio, or working on my iPad or something, and then I get a great big drip on the iPad. Wasn't a huge problem. I didn't get soaked. Nothing in the inner tent got wet, although water did pool on the top of the inner tent, and I kept having to push it up to drain it off. So anyway, initial thoughts was, oh well, you know, when I get home, what I'll have to do is to reproof it. I looked into reproofing it, and it's not that cheap to do it actually. So I thought, well, maybe I ought to use the money and invest it in a new tent. I'm sure that in the intervening 15 odd years, tent fabric technology has moved on. Fabrics are going to be more water resistant, probably lighter, innovative tent designs will have come to the fore. So I started looking around for a replacement for this one, and the main not problems, but the annoying things with this tent is, A, it's quite heavy. You couldn't really take it on a backpacking trip. It weighs nearly 9 kilograms. Right, I know it's got steel pegs and all the rest of it. You could minimise the weight a little bit, but so it's quite heavy. It's starting to let the water in. It's actually quite difficult to pitch because where the pegs fit into the end of the fiberglass poles, it's a real struggle to get them in, because there's no tensioning system, there's no adjustment system where you can slack it off, put them in, get the pins in the bottom of the poles and then tighten it up. You can't do that. It's all fixed dimensions, and when it's blowing a gale and you're trying to get these bloody pegs inside the little hole at the bottom of the poles, it can be a bit of a challenge. So that's a little drawback on it. For me, also, slight drawback is that I think it's 140 centimetres high, which means you can walk into the tent, but you've got to crouch down like this. You've got to be right down here, you know, neck bent and all the rest of it. Plenty of room for a chair in there, you can sit there really comfortable, but you can't stand up vertically in it. So anyway, I looked around on the net, as you do, Amazon and various camping forums and all the rest of it, and I came across another tent that really ticked all the boxes, and the tent in question was a Vango Galaxy 300. It weighs approximately half the weight of the Gelat, so I think it's about 5 kilograms. So at a push, you could put that on a backpack. At a push. You'd have to make sure everything else was very light, but you could do it. The hydrostatic head of the Vango Galaxy 3 is 5,000 compared to 3,000 for the Gelat. The hydrostatic head for the ground sheet on the Vango, I believe, is 6,000, and I believe for the Gelat it was 4,000. So it's much more. The Vango is much more water resistant. What I also did when I bought this, the Vango, is I got a footprint with it, which makes it much easier to keep clean. And also I don't need to explain what footprints are. So yeah, it was much lighter, much more water resistant. For the living area, you could actually stand up. Somebody who's 6'2" could stand up without having to bend down at all in the living area, which suits me much better. And also the ground sheet for the living area, it's not sewn in. However, it does clip in, which means you've got a side wall along the edge. So the downside to the Vango is it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap. I mean, I got a very good deal, in fact, from a company in camping company in Scotland, I think called Summit UK, and I got the tent and a footprint for 250 quid. Yeah, and I say it's expensive. There are other Vango tents and other manufacturers' tents which I could have gone for, which were probably half the price. However, they didn't have the headroom, they didn't have the the side bits on the ground sheet for the vestibule area, the hydrostatic head wasn't so much, etc, etc. So I thought, well, this is probably the last tent I'm going to buy. Yeah. Yes, it was relatively expensive, but not in the league in price terms of something like a Hillyberg. No way near as expensive as those. But then again, a Hillyberg will stand up in a hurricane, whereas most other tents don't. But I think the Vango will get rid of that. Should do me okay. Right. I say I've got it with a footprint, quite light. There's the footprint. The tent itself, I won't unpack it all in a minute. As I say, about half the weight of the gellet. It has aluminium poles as opposed to fiberglass poles, which helps save some weight. It's using modern technology, modern manufacturing techniques, etc. So there we go. I haven't pitched it at all yet. What I hope to do is to go out for a couple of nights in the very near future, hopefully within a week. Test it out. Might even put it up in the garden, I don't know. But as you can see, it feels much lighter. Yeah, I have to say, as a push, you could backpack with that. I know it's recommended by the Scout Association for their groups and stuff, and also I think DOE. But obviously the person carrying the tent would be carrying less other stuff, so I think the weight is distributed among the various members. So there we go. I'll get back to you hopefully very soon when I've tested it out. I'm probably going to need to well, I suppose we could do that now, couldn't we? Just make sure all the bits are here. Alright, it's got a nice large sack for packing it away. Particularly useful when it's wet, windy, raining and all that sort of stuff. We've got the various instructions inside. I'm going to pitch it, yeah. Yep. Nice big bag, compression straps. So I'm not going to take it all apart at the moment. This is obviously the outside bit is the inner tent there. Then we've got poles, fly sheet, and somewhere in there is the pegs. So I'll get back to you as soon as I've taken it out for a test run, so to speak. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment. That'd be much appreciated. And I'll see you next time. Bye.